Preach in Ian's video interview. Oh. Do none of these devs play RPGs?
Yeah, Dakar went to the length of transcribing a lot of this. So
did he?
No, yeah, a lot of the important part anyway. Not the whole interview.
Oh, so it's down here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. Is this going to be like our DMs, but I suppose actually this sort of is a bit like our DMs, but an hour-long video.
Yep.
Yeah, I found this to be a very enjoyable listen, and I think other people did too. And I do wonder, just broadly speaking, like, are they surprised over there in Irvine at, like, kind of just how much the average Joe outside of Twitter kind of dislikes them? I mean, I see a lot more love for them on Twitter and in certain parts of YouTube, but I've just found it notable how much of the goodwill seems to be gone. And so no, like, Mike went to great lengths. But so for a few things, because I mean, Dakor has transcribed Mike's stream partially, so it would be a bit mean if we didn't go through it.
Yep.
GamesBeat. There's a lot of quality of life improvements coming to 9.1.5. A lot of people are excited about those things, but a lot of people have expressed some frustration they didn't happen sooner. Do you think there's something in the feedback loop Blizzard can improve? And I also say props to GamesBeat for asking, like, questions where, I mean, you just kind of knew the GamesBeat person, like, knew what was going on with Warcraft at, like, a generic interview.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Let's see.
So what Ian said was, so what we hear from people who are trying to do high-end raiding and push a lot with keystones, having to choose one covenant and not being able to use the two freely for those systems was frustrating. We understood that. It wasn't surprising to us. This is the bit where I turn around to say, so motherfucker, you knew it was shit and it was going to be very annoying for loads of people, and you then decided to do it anyway. Because here is something I think is very important. Very, very important. The ability to do risk management. And while Ian was not an actuary, he's a lawyer, right? I think it was white-collar criminal defense, if I believe correctly. But either way, in that sort of field, I mean, you're going to be sharp on risk, how you think about risk. What I'd say is you want to think about how are your upside, basically your upside and your downside. What's capped, what is uncapped. So there's sort of situations like this where, you know, how do you think through these issues? You know that for your most dedicated sticky players, it's a definite downside. You don't know how much of an upside. So you know that it's a downside for them. It will never be an upside for them. You then have a bunch of people where you think it might be an upside, but you basically don't know. And even for them, there are a bunch of potential other downsides as well. Like, from a basic risk management perspective, you know, sometimes you have the design in your head, but what's really important is to have it in your head and take it out of your head, change what angle you're looking at it from, and actually do a risk assessment on it. And I'm not saying that in some sort of weird design a game via spreadsheet, but you should be able to think about a decision and understand, you know, like, just understand the risk profile of it, I suppose. And that's what's always been crazy to me, is they make so many crazy risky bets where I'm like, all right, this is your fucking Schlieffen plan. And if this works out perfectly, then yes, this is a plan for victory. But it turns out you don't want a plan for victory, because that's not how war works.
Or anything, really.
Research the Schlieffen plan and the World Wars, please. But, you know, they keep on, you know, doing those, having those great big plans for victory where it's like, I've mind expansion memed and this will work perfectly. But it's like, it doesn't. It doesn't. So how about you go with something that is less risky, more of a surefire bet, with more known knowns, less unknowns. You know, think about what are your known knowns, it's dealing with your unknowns. So there's your sort of your known unknowns, which is the stuff you don't know, but you kind of, you know to look in that area. But also there's your unknown unknowns, which is just like the fucking crazy shit that can go on. And sometimes just the more crazy and, you know, just out there and so many moving pieces one of your designs is, then the more unknown unknowns you're going to have. And you're really going to, you're just going to struggle to see things coming. That's sort of happened. So we knew that if this was your orientation for the game, if you're a min-max player, you're always going to want to be optimal. But as we articulated I mean, is it articulation? Is it mental
Yep.
spending time in the mental gymnasium? But as we articulated, the goal of design was that was the core RPG choice. That feeling of a weighty decision of picking this path versus that path and having a different story you experienced versus what your friends experienced was going to provide a better gameplay experience, a better experience for the majority of players. But that choice never mattered to the narrative. It mattered to your access to content and your access to player power, but narratively, it made no fucking sense. I mean, the thing that Preach fucking exploded at was thanks, did you just restore the seed of the Primus, give us the big fucking sword and help us? Don't you fucking come in here. You fucking Night Fae. Fucking beat your head in. Yeah. I'm like, okay there, Necro Lords. Bloody hell. I just traipsed around your horrible green place helping you, and this is how you treat me? So you know what? Let's just go to Mike's limit break because it's more fucking entertaining than any way I'm going to be putting this. Please play RPGs in the WoW team. I beg of you, because it's not this. Here's the core thing. I think this now. When the World of Warcraft dev team thinks about an RPG, they're not thinking about Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think they're thinking about Pillars of Eternity or even a Mass Effect or whatever. I don't think they're thinking about that. I think they're thinking about Path of Exile. I think they're thinking about Destiny. I think they are thinking about a different type of RPG. The ARPG. First of all, RPGs have barely ever worked like that. They really don't. Play one. I know you have. Play one, they don't work that way. And in the last 5 years, they've moved even further away from that to the point where they let you play whatever the fuck you want all the fucking time with no fucking respec costs at all. Do you know why? Because it's really fun. It's really fun to be like, I wonder if that's good. And the dev going, I'll go let the player try that out for 20 minutes and he might not like it, so you can swap back really quickly because it's fine. I just want to check it out. I just want to enjoy myself. That's all. I just want to fucking play it.
Brutal. Like.
Yeah. It's so bizarre the way that they framed that choice.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes you'll make a level in a game and depending what you do, you'll get a different permutation of that level. Yeah. But imagine going to an RPG and, you have your first leg of your story and then you make your choice and then you get 104 tiny stories and that's game over. It's not RPG. I mean, it could be, but maybe not like this. And also this tying in of the mechanics to that's the other friggin' side of this. But yes, no RPGs have worked like that since fucking point and click adventure stories back in the day. There's been a couple of Star Wars or whatever, but they gave you 6 or 7 different characters that you could choose, that you could also play. And you can respec them in any way you wanted. So if your main character was scuffed fucking Mackenzie, you could go just play the other characters at the same time, and it's fine. The Covenant thing was not about min-maxers. Sure, it was for some guys, but you know what the min-maxers did? Do you know what they did? They just said, I'll fucking make 4 characters.
And they did too.
Yes.
They did.
Do you know what it was really about? Was you, after years and years and years, gave us every single class 4 brand new fucking spells to play with. We haven't had a talent row since I don't know when, since I had no hair. I haven't seen a talent row since then. So you gave us 4 brand new spells and you said you can only use 1. And that's the fucking thing. I'm sure that Flayed Shot or whatever the hell it's called would have been fun to use in my Hunter.
Yeah.
Well, tough shit. How many hunters fucking used that? We all used Wild Spirits or Resonating Arrow. Why did you do that? Why did you design it like this? And it's just all of these things where it's this is... Yeah, Covenants were just a bafflingly designed system, and from what I understand, Covenants were a very top-down system where it was a situation of, hey team, here's the thing we're doing for the next expansion. There is no room for feedback. We're doing it. Bye.
Very much a...
That has been... Multiple people I know have heard that from people they know, and I've heard that from people that I know. Yeah. That this was all pretty fucking top-down.
It's very much an extremely no negativity in the dojo sort of situation where like, okay,
yeah,
I have loads of feedback for this system. Where can it go? And whoever made the decision or whoever's collecting feedback from the team went, shredders in that corner.
And, you know, negativity can include things such as, please, sir, stop touching my breasts. Please, sir, don't give me a back rub. Because the person who said no negativity in the dojo was Alex Afra fucking Sabi.
Yep.
I didn't know this. I thought no negativity in the dojo was some sort of like community joke or came from 4chan or something. I didn't know that it was a quote from Alex in an interview.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all know what Alex ended up, the things he ended up doing.
Yeah.
Fucking wild, isn't it? But, I mean, again, right? Like, maybe we do need some negativity in the dojo because the dojo's producing bad martial artists.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, you're sitting there trying to train in your martial arts and you have a shitty form, you do it all wrong, or like, there's no negativity in this dojo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, that's it. No correcting someone's form in the gym.
That's what it is, yeah.
Just let them all get fucking injured.
Yeah. What's that? You want to use all of your momentum doing pull-ups and destroy your arms? Go for it. Work away. No problem. No problem.
Yeah. Oh man. So yes, right, back to Mike.
Yeah.
It's the most... Oh yeah, he's talking about getting new spells. It's the most exciting part of any fucking expansion. When new talent row and new class spells come in, I want to try them out, and you said we can only play one. That's not min-maxing. That's just, I want to have some fun. Here's the thing. The WoW team they have no idea about fun.
They genuinely don't know what it is.
They think of Sid Meier and, the game is about, interesting questions, interesting solutions, interesting problems, interesting decision making. It's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And also fun. It also has to be fun. And I think their way of, they added meaning with friction.
Yeah.
You want to add, you add meaning with meaning.
But that's so hard to do.
There could be narrative meaning, there could be friction in that meaning if the narrative supports it. And if the overall game design is really well built around that. But in this case, it wasn't. Which is why it just felt so basically broken from a design perspective.
Yeah.
So to move on to some of others of Mike's mumblings. Try and get a nice alliteration going. Anyway. And then you said...
Oh, sorry.
And then you said, but some of them blatantly don't work in various different parts of the game. They don't even work if you respec. You took Enhancement Shaman, and you were like, well, here's your one spell. Everything else is for fucking Ellie or Resto. Then some Tommy Two Fingers is like, well, I like to play both. And you go, well, fuck you, because it's important to us that you can't play what you want to play. Isn't this fun? Isn't this meaty? Isn't this enjoyable for you? Oh, we'll fix it later. Yeah. And yeah. And it's so funny. They have completely... the whole fix it later is just the funniest fucking shit. Where it's like, so you're saying that now you can play patch 9.1.5, just that it's way better, just that the currency is uncapped, just that, blah, 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 so that you don't have to spend your entire life looking at the map in Korthia. Should I bother playing patch 9.2? How about we, in the guild, come up with a fucking mutual agreement that we all pretend that patch 9.2 doesn't exist until patch 9.2.5 comes out, at which point in time we can jump in and we can have, the well-conceived or better-conceived version of it. And, you shouldn't be teaching your players that. Now, I'm all for shipping fixes, and I know that could come off like, so they ship fixes and now you're blasting them for it? I think it's more that they, at this stage you shouldn't need those fixes because we thematically have the same problems again and again and again.
Yep. And there's a difference between fixes and redesigns that are the way the game should probably have been in the first place. I will say there's a caveat on that when you're looking at the Valor caps being removed and stuff, because obviously Valor caps make sense for their goals of gearing and stuff.
Yeah.
At the beginning, but it's certainly interesting that they're very happy to run with the no, this is the good version of the game now. Or like, well, have you ever thought about it in that term, using those words? Or are you just going, well, here's the content? Are you just basically just going, content out the door, shit, quick, get it going. Oh, we'll get fixed that shit, yeah, we'll fire them at the end of the queue, we'll get them done eventually. That's what I kind of did, cut them some slack, that's what it feels like to me, more than anything else, but oh boy.
Yeah, but maybe it turns out we're in Bobby's maze, but they're in Bobby's labyrinth fighting the friggin' Minotaur.
Yeah.
Minotaur?
Minotaur?
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. So, yeah, he says it was never min-maxing. Never. You just said we weren't allowed to play with new toys. You gave us a Lego shop and said we're only allowed to play with one bit. And if you want to play with the other bit, come back tomorrow. Do something different. God damn it. Get some more of that team to play some modern RPGs for the love of God. I beg of you. Because it's about story choice. All RPGs are like that now, and they have been for like 10 fucking years. They're all like that. Go and play some. For the love of Christ, just play some. I beg you. RPGs that fuck the player over are not fun. As scummy and simpy as it sounds, just listen to Yoshi P for 5 minutes. We don't need to play World of Warcraft every fucking day. If Sir Bobby is telling you you need to have everyone logged in every day, go tell him to go fuck himself. Yeah? Yeah, and, something I have came to the understanding that much like, we had this, sort of these statements here, one of the things I've come to an understanding on is that how they view metrics does fall into a lot of the pitfalls that we've understood. As in, you see the numbers, and what gets measured gets managed. All of the negatives that, come with that flow forth. Some other things. Cross-faction rating. GamesBeat. Talking about community requests and maybe stubbornness, is something like cross-faction rating a bit more in the radar? Ian says, it is a bit more in the radar. If Jane and Thrall are working alongside each other in the raid, why can't the Alliance and the Horde? Preach. Oh god, how low are the sub numbers? Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's grim. That's really fucking grim. Oh, that's really upsetting. I'm not even joking. That's really fucking sad. Are we there? Has it happened? That makes me really fucking sad.
Yeah,
just kind of funny. You know what? I've been pro-faction divide and pro-faction war for quite a while, actually. I think that's always just been a unique and good thing about Warcraft. But I do think that pragmatically some cross-faction raiding is probably a decent play. It's just, I do worry that, like, narratively, if there was no Horde and Alliance, or, if it's just two factions, but, they're all happy tree friends, then, that could take something out of the story. And that could limit what they can do in the setting to kind of just be, big extrinsic threat, come. So, I wonder. So, anyway, that's Preacher's response.